Are you worried? Because apparently eBay's and other places are reporting what money you're making to the government. So what does that mean for you? Apparently, if you're making money on the side and you haven't been paying taxes, mate, oh dear, you're in for a shame and a shock. So why am I talking about this? Well, I wanted to do an episode to cover the recent news. The Taxman coming for your side hustle? Question mark. This is money. This is an article. So this can apply to things like Airbnb, eBay, Uber, and other places online if you're selling stuff, even Amazon at some point. So they're going to report directly to HMRC. If you're in the UK, which a lot of my viewers are, it's basically, this is going to be an update to let you know what's going on. So I want to find out what this actually means. New tax rules could see thousands of people who sell items and services online. Anyone who earns over £1,000 extra income for a year becomes liable for tax. Yes, that's right. We know that. If you're following my podcast, zulftalks.com, you'll be aware of like the overall rules for working for yourself. So I do a podcast and episodes, and they basically explain to you how you can set up a business and avoid this problem. So if you've been following along with me, you should be okay, because we set up a business and we pay taxes on our income just to avoid any issues of this nature. Because the last thing you want is the government to be after your back for their taxes, because if you need to pay it, you should pay it. Now, if you make even £1 above the annual allowance, you need to tell the taxman. Yes, you have to fill out a self-certification form online to say I'm earning money, and this is how much I earned. Do I need to pay tax? In most cases, if you're under that threshold of like 12,550 or something, you don't pay tax, but you need to let them know. That's the main thing. So this is going to be like a bit of a shock to a lot of people. So anyone who makes money from their hobbies and is selling items online could be hit with the tax bills and fines unless they get their tax affairs in order now. Well, not really now, because they can look back. So what happens is, if you've been doing something and not paying tax, they can go back to however long they want. You know, they've got the power. So experts are warning sweeping new tax rules will be introduced on January the 1st, which could see thousands of people who earn a bit of extra income being caught out by the taxman if they haven't declared it. Oh yeah, I like that little pie there with the money in there. What? They're gonna take more? They just take, isn't it? That's what it is. So that's this is money article. There's another one here in a forum for eBay. With the changes that eBay will be letting HMRC know about the money people have made through selling, I wondered if it was possible to get a report of the past 7 years of sales so I can make a voluntary disclosure. Oh, okay. So a lot of people will need to start letting the government know. So it may just be lack of education out there. Like, people probably just didn't know that, I'm only making a couple of thousand online. Do I need to go through this process? But at this point, people will start searching for this, and online, hopefully you get to some resources to help you out, because we don't want you getting caught out with this kind of thing. So basically what's going to happen is they're going to let know the taxman. So eBay is going to report that data, and anyone who makes above that amount will be, they're going to get in touch with you and say, where's the money, mate? Give me some tax. I want some tax from you. And if you intentionally did something wrong, then they can basically fine you, imprison you, all sorts of stuff that you should be aware of if you're running a business or even selling online. So how they look at this is, if you're intending to sell a product to make a profit, you should be classing yourself as like a business or a company or self-employed. There's different terms there. Again, this is from my point of view, because what I do is I talk to people about my Zulf Talks, the channel, is basically about setting up your company. So I originally started as self-employed, small little thing where I made a bit of money. I was under £1,000. I didn't have to worry. I became self-employed because I made over £1,000 a year. I went online, filled out a tax return. It's not too difficult. Once you do it a couple of times, it's quite straightforward. You basically log on, put in your information and say, okay, this year I sold this many things. It was this amount, and this is how much I made. And then at the end of the little form, it'll tell you, you're not due to pay tax because you're under the threshold, or it will say you need to pay tax at this amount, please pay by whatever year it is. So it's not too bad. I don't think you should worry if you're doing it right. If you're not doing it right, it's a very big worry, because people lose sleep over this kind of stuff, because you're basically not paying the right amount of tax. And then in this country, Queen's law, well, not really Queen's law, is it? It's just, they'd come and chop off your head if they could. But before they do that, they want your money. They're going to get your tax from it. Yes, no financial advice. This is personally, opinions and all that. I don't want you coming and suing me for this opinionated post today. But I thought I saw this and I was like, okay, so quite a lot of people are actually worried about this. So it may be that oh, wait a minute, 15 comments. Let's see what's the most comments. I get eBay sellers who regularly make thousands a month say, but I sold my games. Okay, that'd be common. Provided you are under the personal allowance of, yes, see, 12,570 for all income, then you have no worries. However, even if you're making 1,000, you should still be declaring it and filling out the form. So that's very important. So these are common questions that people will have. So for example, they'll say, I'm not earning 12,570, so I won't pay tax. However, you still need to fill out a form and say to the government, I've made £3,000 of sales this year. And then they'll say, okay, yeah, you don't pay tax, but you have to still fill out the form. You can't not fill out the form and tell them. That's like an important thing to know, especially if you're self-employed. And okay, and yet Google, Microsoft, Amazon, Apple, oh yeah, mate. Not to mention all the well-heeled high flies and politicians all walk away tax-free because they have well-paid lawyers. It's not really the pay the lawyers. It depends on which country you declare your income, the tax you pay. So if Amazon decides to open a branch, a head office in Northern Ireland where the tax is really low, that's their head office. So that's where they're going to pay tax. So they can have branches in other countries, but all the income, when you get paid from Google, where does the money come from? Google Ireland, because they're clever. Not clever, but they're trying to avoid pay tax, which isn't good because they're not helping all the countries that, that's a whole another kettle of fish. Go mad in the comments at me. Okay, so is because they all have well-paid lawyers who basically look at loopholes. That's what they are. For those loopholes. I wonder how much HMRC commit to tackling white-collar fraud. Does this apply to busking as well? Yeah. So if you made over £1,000, it's income, isn't it? I recently saw a busker with a sign by his begging bowl saying minimum tip £2. The UK is becoming an absolute... Okay, interesting. There will be, there's loads of articles there. Now, this isn't something new. It's not a new thing. If you're in the UK, all you need to do is, if you go back to my season episodes, I basically explain. Let me give you a little pop-up so you can see what I'm talking about. So what I've done for you now, just brought up just to give you a bit of clarity if you're in this situation. So I've been doing a podcast for many years, over 200 episodes. Working for Yourself podcast. I talk to lots of different guests about how you should approach business. What do you need to do? So it may just be that a lot of people don't know about this process and they're worried. So in season 14, I'm basically doing money matters. So that is all about money, from getting a bank account to finances and all that. In season 13, I talked about building a business. So taxes, accountants, setting up your company. If you need to set up a company, how much money you make. In season 12, I talked to loads of business guests, and in season 11 as well. So these all over time have slowly built people up. Anybody who's following along will know. Okay, so he talked about, this. Let's have a look here. So bank accounts for bad credit history, how to save money each month, money marketing, it's not too late to start your business, how to find and set up the best video lighting if you're working for yourself. We've got things here finding the right accountant. So, let's go to season 14 so I can show you a little drop down. So season 14, we're recording, right? I'm recording season 14 right now. So let me go to season 13. In 13, you've got things like how to start a successful YouTube channel. Again, YouTube gives you money. You earn money from YouTube as well, from AdSense. So that applies as earnings. Silent creators, hooking, 10 simple habits for fulfilling life, secrets of taking the time for self-care, how to achieve your goals, the power of positive thinking, accountants, setting up the right accountants. Do you need an accountant? When do you get an accountant? Yeah. So if you listen from season 13 on my podcast, zulftalks.com, Apple, Spotify, everywhere, you can slowly start hearing the types of things you need to be thinking about. Because I think the government's quick to ask for tax, but they should be as good as getting the word out there. Why doesn't the government have a YouTube channel where they tell people, you know what, you're making money, you should be doing this, you should be declaring it, you should be doing this. So the more people know about it, the better it is. Again, they put the onus on us as being business owners to say, you know what, you're making money, you find out what you need to do, get an accountant and figure it out. But half the time, the amount of accountants I spoke to who don't know a single thing that you need to know about online stuff. So Again, I'm not an accountant, I'm not a financial advisor. However, if you can educate yourself on what you need to do, you won't get caught out, because when it comes around and they start looking for people that haven't paid tax, who's going to get hit the hardest? You, because they're going to say, well, you should have figured it out, you should have checked online, you should have gone to directgov.uk or whatever they want to say. So I'm not having a moan, I'm just kind of giving you well, I am having a moan, aren't I? Because they're not doing as much as they could be doing, but there's different types of resources out there to help see other people's journeys, so you can see how other people are handling this. So it's like, for example, I started very small, made a little bit of money, figured out I was earning more money, started looking online, worked out, okay, wait a minute, I'm making £1,000. That's a year, by the way, and that's not including, that's any money you get at £1,000. If you sell 2 phones, 3 phones, and you get £1,000 in, that classes as income. And if you're declaring that, then you have to get self-employed, and then you start working out, actually I spent £300 to buy the phones, and then I sold them, so it wasn't a full £1,000 profit. So you can take expenses, it gets very complicated, but I talk about this a lot in the episode, as well as the Zulf Talks podcast. But yeah, I think I've seen this online, and people have sent me the link to it, and I was like, you know what, it's like, is it scaremongering? Are they trying to scare people? Not really, because if you owe taxes, they could come and ask you for you earned this money, why did you not pay tax, mate? Realistically, eBay should have taken tax off the top before they paid you, because that's what they're doing with Google now. Like, if you don't pay the right amount of tax and you don't fill out the forms, they'll deduct 20% at source and say, well, fill out a form and let us know, and then you can go through the steps. I did a video about that about 2 years ago, about Google AdSense and the forms. But yes, hopefully this gives you some value. I just kind of had a little bit of a moan about the article I saw, talked about episodes I've made to give you information about things you can look at. The best thing you can do is get an accountant and try and find a good one. They're hard to find. Or look online. You'll be surprised the amount of information you can pick up from YouTube, and try picking up different articles and things, and then finally, when you know roughly what's going on, then ask an accountant and see if they have half a clue about online earnings and stuff. But yes, was this any value? I'll link you to what I'll do is I'll link you to the first episode of season 14 here, or season 12, and you can just look through them, and thank you, I think. Thank you. Yeah, see you in the next one.